Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Thanks for Your Concern. You're here with Berenice.
And I'm Ella. Welcome back to another fabulous week. I'm feeling
Woo!
I'm feeling high energy today. How are you feeling? Everything good? What is
We're,
up with you?
just slaving away over here. Just getting some outfits done from all avenues. I gotta make like my own EDC outfits. I gotta make some other people's outfits, but the vibe is good. I feel like we talk a lot about like feeling the fruitions of our actions, of the things we set in 2023. I really feel like that's happening right now. And I know I'm doing good because my TikTok algorithm, like, I've entered healthy bitch TikTok. Like, we're back to the hee hee ha ha's. We're back to like fun TikToks, like animal TikTok. And that's how I know I'm doing good because a year ago, my TikTok algorithm was like unhinged girl era, like female rage, and then it went to like sad bitch, then it went to like healing girl, then it went to like astrology bitch, then it went to toxic girl, and like now we're just like there's nothing. There's one act. There was some that I was like, how does TikTok know this about me? Like, this is how crazy this app is. This actually is the scariest app I have is TikTok, just like about like being in healthier relationships and stuff like that. And I was like, does TikTok know something I don't?
I had I had something kind of similar. So I saw a TikTok that I swear to God I've never related more to in my entire life. And it was like it's Elmo driving and it's like, oh, when you're like driving in the rain at night and you're overstimulated and like you're trying to like calm down. And I was like, oh my God, that's literally me. And it's Elmo like losing his shit while he's just trying to keep calm while driving. And I was like, oh my God, this is so relatable. This is so relatable. And I like show it to a couple people. They're like, why is this hashtag autism? Like, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? I was like, I don't
Don't
think
look at that. Don't
I
look
was
at that.
I was like, I didn't even look, I didn't even read that. I was like, maybe TikTok's trying to tell me something, but maybe not. But yeah, the algorithm is always on point. I'm into like the drama era of TikTok. I'm just getting all of this it's in I've seen so many like drama related TikToks lately and I'm kind of living for it. So they just keep on feeding me. So I'm seeing these new niche dramas one right after the other and I'm getting like all the updates on drama about TikTokers that I've never seen before in my life, but I'm just being shown the drama videos.
Well, something that's funny also about TikTok is that it will put stuff on your For You page that also like your friends like. Like, if you're
Mhm.
friends with somebody, like, they'll pop it in there. So sometimes I'm like, who is out there this engaged in TikTok drama? I guess it's you.
I mean, maybe it is me, but like I honestly, it's kind of like it's weird because it's like reality TV, but people are producing themselves. So that's why I'm like, oh my God, like girl, I cannot you believe you put that video out
Unhinged,
there, you know?
unhinged. I love it because people, I swear to God, this year is just giving yes and. I'm telling you, no one gives a YOLO anymore. They're just sending it home.
Love
I
it.
kind of like it. Yeah, it's entertaining when it's not about you. You know what I mean?
It's really funny when one of the TikToks is like, have you seen that one that the girl was like a bully and she just basically was like, no, people should be bullied? That was
No.
her hot take. Her hot take was basically like, everyone gets bullied. So even though I'm a bully, like, get over it. If you're still upset about me bullying you in high school, you need to get a fucking
Oh,
life.
wow.
And now she's gone on private. She's disappeared. And I was like, oh, maybe bullying's not fun.
Bullying is never in. We're in
No.
the era of like girls supporting girls, girls girl era. She missed the mark on that one, but like, I guess that's a take.
I feel like it's a take if maybe you were the one being bullied. I honestly, I was bullied a lot. And honestly, it made me, and I was bullied during the time when it was like your mama jokes were really popular. And everyone knew my mom because she worked at the school. So I had to start getting quick. And then also you had to start making up your own yo mama jokes and you had to be creative. But I didn't want to be mean. So I had to have like some creative yo mama digs that weren't actually insulting somebody's
This
mom.
is where the stand up started.
Yeah, yeah. So am I appreciative of my bullies? They kept me on my toes. But if you were the bully, I don't think that's a take you should have. That's just me, you know?
Yeah. If anything, I guess I hope this teaches people that you can have any sort of opinions and put them on the internet, and people will still be watching. You know, if you want to go and be on TikTok and you don't think you got anything relevant to say, there's people that really don't, and they're out there doing it. So you might as well get on your hustle. You never know.
You never know, baby.
Oh my god. Do you have
Oh,
any updates? Any hot
well,
tea?
hot tea. Okay, so you guys know I'm in my like solid core 6 a.m. era right now because the key to getting up early is sleeping.
Yeah.
I figured that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I figured out the reason I could never get up early is because I was going
Because
to
you don't
bed
sleep.
3 hours before I was trying to get up, and that doesn't work. But if you tuck yourself in early enough, you'll get there. But
Period.
I'm
Period.
at Solid Core, and the instructor who I'm now friends with because I've decided I'm letting go. I have told myself that like I have social anxiety, and I've been saying recently that that's a fucking lie. I don't. Okay. I just have been like fucking gaslighting myself into believing that I don't have social anxiety and just been talking to people. So now I got homies at Solid Core. My Solid Core instructor comes over to me and she whispers, "I hear you're Canadian." And I was like, no, I'm not. And this is on her mic, so everyone's hearing, like, I heard you're Canadian. Like, I heard a secret you're Canadian. And I was like, first of all, why would that be a secret? And second of all, where the fuck did you hear that was Canadian?
Who's
And I was,
out here saying I'm
I
Canadian?
I was like, that's such a strange thing. And I come to find out she said comedian.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, well then, yes. I'm doing a show on February 15th. Come find me. No, and I was like, and she was like, why would I ask if you were Canadian? And I was like, I don't know. That's why I act so confused when you asked me. And it was just a little fun hee hee ha ha that I thought was hilarious.
Well, I guess now people think you're a Canadian and a comedian.
I
So
know.
we
We love
love
this new
that.
idea. But yeah, so everyone get your sleep. It helps. If you want to change who you are, you can do it. It's
Any
all in
day
the
of the
power
day,
of your
of the
mind.
week, of the
Yeah.
night. Okie dokie. Shall we get into the episode of today?
Yeah, we got a juicy one, you guys. We're going to talk about Oscar-winning performances. IRL.
Let's get it.
Let's do it. Well, thanks for your concern.
So some people really be putting on like quite a show. You know what I mean? Like award-winning performances.
I love a good award-winning performances, and I was kind of inspired because I've been watching Oscar movies, and I was just thinking about like, damn, I have had some great actors come in and out of my life giving like Oscar-winning performances. I'll start off strong. Do you ever have it like when your parents would do like an Oscar-winning performance in front of other people?
Oh yeah, that you're
Yeah.
like watching them and you're like, that never happened.
Yeah, that, but my mom, like, I would be like, someone would be talking about an R-rated movie that I had watched with my mom. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen that movie. And then she was like, oh, how'd you see that movie? When did you watch that? And I was like, I watched that with you. And she's like, no, you didn't. I would never let you watch an R-rated movie. When lo and behold, she did not care about that. And so I was like, girl, why are you acting?
Yeah. There's it's interesting to watch your parents get affected by other people because obviously when they're at home, they're in their safe space. So then when they're around other people, suddenly they start acting a little funny. And I'm like, Maria, why are you acting like this? All of a sudden, Paco forgets that he's a softie and like mugs everybody. And I'm like, Dad, you're not this hard. Like,
Yeah, I honestly I think this is like something everyone experiences where it's like their parents are like, I guess we're all different people, but it's so strange when you know your parents so well. You're like, why are you playing right now?
Yeah, yeah.
My dad's almost always the same, which is almost as horrifying, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm like, we're amongst strangers, dude.
Authentic.
Super authentic. I was like, bro, that joke is for like, that's an inside the household joke. That's not like
You can't
to
say
the
that in
waiter
public.
joke. Like, what? But
But
that's
that's
always a
good.
good
That's
one.
good. He ain't playing. He ain't acting. That's just who he
No.
is. I do like that. There's some people that put on good shows. One that I think is a good show is when people hide versions of themselves. There's a specific phenomenon that I've encountered because I thought Mean Girls were like not a thing anymore, right? And I've stumbled across some people that act so nice in person, and all of a sudden we'll be like, "Ugh, what's that?" That like the other person leaves, and I'm like, "What just happened? What happened to the
Yeah.
sweet girl that was present 2 minutes ago? What happened to her?"
Regina George did.
Regina George. It's interesting. I've never related to that, so I don't necessarily know where it comes from. Along with Mean Girls, also like fake friends. The more I'm around certain people, I realize like people really be gaslighting without really realizing it's gaslighting, specifically like in friendships. I had like a friend that was saying how she just really didn't relate to some of her like old friends, but instead, and her old friends would be like hitting her up to hang out. But instead of like telling them like I don't want to hang out, she just like would wait until the day they were supposed to have plans and like bail last minute. And then when that happened like several times and their friend kind of like confronted them about it, like, hey, is something up? Like I just want to check in. She was like, no, no, no. Like it's just I've just been busy, it's not that serious. And I was like, you just like that was gaslighting, right? And then she was like, no, no, no. Like I just like I don't know, like I just don't want to hang out with her anymore. And I'm like, okay, but you're basically invalidating her feeling that something's up because she knows something's up and you're telling her there's nothing up. You're just busy. And you're saying you're not serious, which is like the most fuckboy thing to say to anybody. You know what I mean?
So honestly, it's really interesting because I feel like, in therapy, I've thought about some stuff where I'm like, damn, that was fucked up of me, but I didn't mean to do it. So sometimes we be doing stuff that I'm like, that's low key not cool. But we might not even realize it.
You be
And
putting a show
everyone,
to yourself
yeah.
sometimes
Oh, yeah.
about of the person that you think you are. Uh, it'd be like that.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, with like the fake like mean girl thing, I just remember. I don't even know if I want to. But sometimes in like high school, do you know when like you have to like do some type of team bonding and you have to like sit down and tell all your secrets? And we like,
What? That's like hazing. That's
yeah, like it was kind
like
of like that, but it was like organized hazing. And like literally some of the battles that like girls were fighting within themselves, I was like, girl, why are you no, we don't need to put on a front like this. Like no one I have to be me I have to be nice to everyone. It's so hard because I don't like anybody here. I'm like, bitch, why'd you just say that? You don't have to be here. No one's
she's like,
making you.
my biggest worry is that I'm being fake as fuck.
Yeah. And there was like literally like I remember this one time in high school I tweeted I was like I fucking hate it here because I hate being around these fucking bitches, and I wasn't being fake about it at all. There were people I just did not fucking like, and I hated that I have to see them 2 3 times 4 times a day. Then I had a local Seattle rapper. He responded to my tweet and he's like, you know what, I understand this feeling. Just realize that once you're in the real world this becomes less and less true. You get to choose your circle. Then I entered corporate America. Oh, well, we're right back in
Was
it.
I wrong? Seattle rapper didn't see that one coming.
Because I do not like being fake, but I also don't like to be unpleasant to people either. So I just really hate towing that line sometimes.
I think there's a difference between being polite and cordial and crossing the line to fakeness. I was put in like an interesting situation with like a friend that kind of it kind of was giving the scenario less real. We weren't that close, but like he just responded this guy to like one of my TikToks where I basically say like how I am as a friend, and he was just like basically saying that I didn't consider him as much as a friend, I guess, that he thought he was to me. I will say this, okay? My only best friends are people I've known for years. The hee hee ha ha circle is very small, especially for some of the experiences I've had as of recent. To make it to the circle, I have to really, really know you. Two, I you don't owe anybody like the level of friendship that they portray onto you. But I also didn't want to be like, oh no, like this is in your head, because it wasn't. I was like, your feelings are like valid, like at the end of the day, like I'm sorry that I can't provide you with that level of friendship that you're seeking from me. But at the end of the day, like that's also not something I necessarily need to apologize for. That's not on me. Like you don't have to be everybody's bestie. I was like, I don't have 10 million besties, but I still respect you. I still appreciate your friendship. We're just not as close as you want us to be, and that's okay. That was a tough conversation because I really had to soul search. I was like, we're not being fake, but how can we still be nice without being fake? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
difference.
there is a difference.
All right, I don't know if this is a confessional, but I've never told this story on the podcast, and I literally just was thinking about it randomly.
Is
And
this your Oscar winning performance?
yeah, it's a duo
Oh.
Oscar winning performance, okay?
Okay.
So, anyways, I wake up in a strange place with a strange man. I remember him, I remember the
Anyways.
night.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember his name. It's just not coming to me. Because it's like one of those things where it's like you were so deep into talking with someone, at that point it would be weird to ask their name.
Yeah, period.
Anyways, so this man told me he was like 32, and this is when I was like 22. So it was already like an older man situation. Next day, I check his ID for his name because I was like, I cannot ask him for his name at this point. And I've been in this scenario before, and I just need to check the ID, okay? I check the ID. It says this man's 45 years old. Ugh. And I am now, I don't know.
How old did you think he was?
I literally thought he was 32. He looks great for 45. I will give him that. And now I have to pretend like I didn't just check his fucking ID.
Yeah, you don't know that he's
I don't know. And the bad part about it is that I honestly was like still down to hang out because I enjoyed his company. And so I just never brought it up. But sometimes for the hee ha-has, I would just ask him when things happened, He'd be like, oh, yeah, like, oh, yeah, no, when I got my master's. I was like, yeah, when was that? And I...
to try to catch it? To try to
catch it? Or maybe just even, like, give him the opportunity to tell me the truth. And he would do quick maths in his head, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. And I just kept going with it because I really didn't care. It was a time in my life where I didn't really care. And yeah, he kept that performance up for a really long time. He dated a friend after me, and she came up to me. She's like, do you know how old he was? And I was like, do you want to know why?
You want to know how I found out?
You know how I found out? And she was like, that's hilarious. He lied to me too. And I was like, yeah, I mean, he's lying about his age. We love that for him. But that performance that he put on, it was great. I loved it. And then I was performing too. Like, I didn't just check his ID while he was in the bathroom.
I actually stumble across some of these issues myself. Not checking IDs, but like the name thing. So many people I meet now and then we have on social media, but I don't know why people won't put their goddamn name on social media. They'll put like one letter of their name or just their goddamn handle. And I'm like, what is this person's name?
Like, who are you?
Who are you, bro? Like, yes. I realize I've been having conversations with you consistently for months, and I don't know your name.
I mean, how are you supposed to in that situation?
This is what I mean. And at one point, there was a boy who asked, who I was like, oh, here's my number, because like I'm gonna go off social media. And then he texted me. And dead ass, I didn't know who it was. But the thing is, like, I be giving out my number sometimes. And I like completely forget I give people my number. So they'll text me with like a random ass name, like Josh. And I'm like, okay, which Josh? So like this was like such fuck girl hours. I always say like last name, reference, and a picture would be ideal. had literally been talking to for like months, right? So I'm like, oh my God, like, how do I get out of this one without looking back? And I was like, oh my God, like, no, yeah. Just, you get a lot of people. I forget to save numbers.
Or you're like,
um,
you know, when you try to play it off and you're like, oh, right, like, here, hey, I got a new phone, about to add you into the contacts. How do you spell your last name? And then they'll send back, like, Smith, LOL. And you're like, okay.
I'm just a girl, okay? The second part that I wanted to say with putting on a show, it's acting like you don't know about people's like things is like obviously I'm a little bit of a stalker, okay? I think we all are. I just like to know what I'm getting myself into because
Oh,
now
yeah.
we have to play detective after some bad experiences. I gotta do my due diligence. So sometimes I have to remember that I don't know things. I'm not supposed to know things about people. I was
Yeah.
like, how they need to bring that up before I can bring that up, or I need to make a conversation so they bring that up so I can get there. It's hard sometimes because I can't keep track of that many things. So that's why when I go on dates and stuff, I like to listen. I don't like to speak so much. I'll ask a million questions, but you won't hear, oh, and what about this? I'll just let you roll. I'll just let you roll and ask about the thing that you're already talking about until you get to what I wanted to talk about in the first place. So now we both know that we know that information together.
Yeah, I feel like I research people as well. Yeah, sometimes you get a little caught. I almost, it's funny. The current boyfriend that I have, I almost didn't go on a date with him because he has a very common name, and I like searched his name, and I was like, and I kind of sussed it out. I was like, I don't think this is the same person, but I couldn't tell, and I was like, I'm not going on a date with a freaking Republican, okay? Especially with this type of digital footprint.
Yeah, in this economy.
But
In
some of the
this
facts weren't
political
matching up, so
economy.
I was like, you know what? And it was a no-face Facebook, so I was like, I'm not positive it was them. Thank God it actually wasn't them, so that's good. But yeah, I be searching the shit out of people. I don't give a fuck.
And people who are like, you should just go with the flow. I've done that, okay? And it turned out to be liars. Okay? Which brings me to our next what an Oscar winning performance. This one is when they put on such a show and then they get cut up. I remember when that dude like a year-ish ago was like fully lying to me. He had a whole other bitch. He was like driving me home after this whole fucking spectacle. You can go listen to that episode, okay? It's the cultural appropriation one. To get the tea. I was just like, what of a show you put on, little sir? What a fucking show, because your ex-girlfriend 20 minutes ago just said that you were snuggled up next to her telling her you loved her, you wanted her to have your kids, and that you like crying tears of how much you loved her. And I had no idea. So people put a hell of a fucking show, and then they continue to carry that show. I've seen this phenomenon on TikTok, never in real life. Please, I'm hoping I never get to that. But is when men get caught up for cheating and they throw like a tantrum, like tears, like on the floor, like. Have you seen those?
Oh man,
They're bizarre.
I mean, those like give me the heebie-jeebies. Like I break out in hives when I see videos like that. But yeah, a lot of dramatics when it's like, I'm so sorry. Or even like, I don't know, have you ever caught somebody up in a lie and then they start like lying more and you're like, you're creating a little world that doesn't exist to make this lie make sense, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, like I had I basically like had an ex like lie to me about what they were doing, and then I was in my neighborhood walking my dog. This was in high school, and I saw them at some bitch's house with like a bunch of their friends, and I was like, "Hi," and he was like, "Are you stalking me?" And I was like, "I live 3 blocks away from here, okay?"
Are you stalking
Are you
me?
fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
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 No,
I had an itch. I had an inkling of a feeling.
yeah. No, motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? And then they come up with this whole fucking story about how they got there and why it wasn't where they said they were. And I was like, so this is crazy because this is a really, you're coming up with a crazy story here about why you have to be here right now when the truth is you just lied where the fuck you were at. But I love the storytelling that you're doing. I love the improv.
The improv. I mean, it is a little it's a little bewildering how people will go in depth of their lies. To me, I was like, at one point, do you believe your own lies? Because when I was dating that other man, this girl never got brought up. Like, not even in like any little sense of conversations that we had where like exes were mentioned, right? So I
That's
was
why
like,
you know he's a liar because it's like it didn't even come up.
it didn't even come up. So it's like, where in the questions that I asked is there information that maybe she was brought up and I didn't know it, like that was tied to that girl, you know? But it's like, do you believe that lie? Because I feel like you have to believe it to really put on a good show. You know what I mean? So it's like, are you just that delulu? Or are you a little evil? Because sometimes it doesn't make sense. And the thing is, I'm sorry, but I just don't think this man was smart enough to be evil. Like, to be completely honest with you. So he has to be Delulu. Like, I
So
think
probably like a little bit of both, but
it's
more
like
on
the
the
method
Delulu.
acting. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
most Oscar winning performances are by actors who do some method acting. So I'm sensing that they believe it. Like, they fully believe that they're this version of themselves that is fabricated.
I mean, maybe it's like they're like what is that saying? Fake it till you make it. Like they're just like, "No, I am a great person who's single. I'm a great guy who's single." And they just like are faking being single and then they start believing it. And they're like, "No, no, no, I'm single. I am."
No, yeah. So I at one point I asked about the math, right? I was like, "Well, when did you break up with her? Because we made out in May." He was like, "Well, technically, like in technical terms, we broke up in June, but I thought we were broken up in May." And I was like, "Oh, okay. So like, why didn't she think that?"
In my head, we had a
We were
conversation.
done.
I had an imaginary conversation, and that's when it was over for me. Okay, so another like Oscar winning performance, and this is another just like funny story. So we're at like a festival and we're at a hotel in Tacoma, and we're with like this group that we met or whatever, and this one dude didn't want to go outside to smoke marijuana. And I was like, all of us were like, do not smoke in this room, like they're gonna fucking say something. And he was like, nah, nah, it's all good, right? He is the only one smoking, mind
Of
you. He's
course, the
just
one
the
asshole. The
one
one
fucking asshole.
asshole.
Security comes to the room and is like, yo, if you guys do not stop smoking in this room, we're going to kick you out. And this man has the audacity, the only one that was smoking. He was like, officer, I mean, I wasn't smoking in the room. Which implies that someone was smoking in the room. And I just was like, bitch, you were the only one smoking in this room. And he literally, this like whole conversation he had with the security guard about him, he was like, I don't feel like I should be kicked out. And the officer was like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, it's like a all situation. It doesn't matter who the fuck was smoking in here. You guys are all getting kicked out. And I just like hit like watching him, and then as soon as the door closed, everyone went in on him like, what the fuck was that, dude? Like, he's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what just happened. Like, I don't know. And we're like, you just threw us all under the bus, and you're the only person who was fucking smoking.
He went straight to like little kid dynamics. Like little kids do that, you know? Mom, it wasn't me.
Yeah, literally.
I didn't do it.
We're like, what the fuck, dude? You couldn't even play it cool for 30 seconds?
That's funny. That's funny. Some people have big talk, okay? Big talk, no follow through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's funny. Oh, along with putting on a show, this one was is it's me. Um, or I mean, other people do it too. But when you're put in a position you don't necessarily want to be in, but you don't want to bring down the vibe of the collective, because here's the thing, right? I can choose to be a. I think being a good person and handling situations right is a choice. Okay, and I want people to keep that in mind for when they choose to act crazy. You might get a reaction that is crazy, and you should expect that from people. But I don't like to act like that because like, for why? I don't want to bring the mood down. I don't want to be that girl that's like tweaking out on some guy. Like, I just don't want to be that person. I will be if I feel like severely disrespected. I'm coming for you. But if I don't think is like that crazy and my feelings are just hurt or I'm uncomfortable, I will put an Oscar-winning performance of acting like it does not affect me whatsoever. Okay.
You're better than I, girl.
Only my close homies will know I'm like going through something, but I like to keep it 100, mostly when I'm around their people, because sometimes I feel set up. Like, if it's a group of their friends and now I showed up and I'm put in a position where I'm like super uncomfortable, I feel like people are now watching to see how I'm reacting. And I'm not trying to give anyone the benefit of seeing me sweat, okay? So I'm just like, everything is fine. But then their friends, I don't know why this always happens to me, but their friends start saying things like to prompt me, right?
Yeah.
Like, they know their friend has shit the bed, and they start saying things about their friend. And I'm just like, keep it together. Because I'm not trying to talk shit about their friend right now, because then I will start reacting. And I hate to be reactive, mostly in a situation I know, like, these are their friends. So that whatever happens comes back to him. You know what I mean? It's like, at the
Hmm.
end of the day, it's like how I choose to carry myself by just being super, like, I turn into HR. I turn so damn what's that word called? Not political, but like, I keep a straight
Professional.
face, a professional. Yeah, I smile. I'm just like, yeah, no, like, tell me more. You know what I mean? But I am showing you any of my cards or my emotions right now until I process this and figure out how I want to play it, because right now it's giving chaos is coming, and my feelings are already on the line, and the only person that can really look the worst here is me, because none of you fuckers know me.
Honestly, with that, I feel like I should deserve an Oscar for pretending like I was a sane person for as long as I did. I sometimes, like, the mental gymnastics I would do, and I'm gonna say this about me and Berenice both. We put things together pretty quickly. And
Yeah.
I just remember, like, one time I was just talking to a girl and she mentioned, like, a date, and like a date, like an actual, like, calendar date about something that happened, and I was like, "Ooh, that doesn't add up." And I just remember, like, doing the mental gymnastics, and I was like, "You know what? This girl has nothing to do with it, so I'm just gonna store it away, play nicety nice." But in my mind, I was kind of losing it. I was like, "Oh, this motherfucker. This is it. I'm done with him."
No, I turned into a full on crazy person internally. Internally, it's still happening. Okay, sometimes I've learned that you gotta unleash it sometimes to some people to show them, don't mess with me. But for the most part, it's internal. And I guess that's when I realized, like, where my anxiety issues were coming from, because I just keep
Yeah.
a lot of things to myself. If you have anxiety, somebody called it like the emotionally stressed, and I was like, oh, that actually does make a lot of sense, because I keep a lot of emotions to myself. Yeah, so we do deserve an Oscar for the amount of times that we were absolutely losing it, but just sat there like, everything's fine.
Honestly, another Oscar performance is me at work. I feel like I am such a professional, quite frankly. And I'm really not that professional as a person. I'm a very jokester, very hee hee ha ha. And I feel like I
You
catch,
drop it
I
sometimes.
know,
You drop
I was
it.
about to say. I do. I sometimes slip up and then have to fucking save face because, like, the other day, it was like 4:00, and I was like joking with my boss. I was like, really burning the midnight oil on at 4:00 because I know homegirl likes to skirt out early. So she was making a joke about it, and she looked at me and I was like, "Oh, I'm joking, ha ha ha," because it's so dark out.
Yeah.
Hee hee.
No, I just remember since Ella and I used to work together, like right after
Oh
college,
yeah.
and we were corporate, so we were pretty like, PC, whatever. And it's still just Seattle, so people there are like super mellow. And we had a lot of, I will give it to that company, they had a lot of like trying to boost up team morale, like pizza parties, blah, blah, blah. Like there
Yeah.
was always
Very
something
fun.
something going on. They had it, okay? Because they knew our job was miserable. And one time we were having one of our gatherings, and we were all, just politely hee hee ha haing because no one really cared for each other. And you just drop like the fattest F bomb. And I was like, and then like, you didn't notice,
I
but like
know.
everybody else did. Because
I
I like read the room.
I'll be honest, I'm like the biggest cursor of probably, I curse a lot. Honestly, I don't notice it until I like edit the podcast and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like fuck, I just curse a lot. And so that does sometimes slip out. Also just in general, I just honestly feel like people don't have enough fun at work. Like, this is a fucking joke. We come here to make money. It's like, who gives a fuck? Let's have a little bit of fun, okay? Let's say something risky, just for hee hee ha ha's. And people are a little taken aback when I sometimes let it slip, let the facade slip that I'm a professional girly, because I'm constantly running jokes, honestly, in my little old noggin. So sometimes I have to decide, you know what? We're not going to say that joke. A joke.
Hold back, hold back.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like, I have like, there's literally like not that many black people that work at our office. And so there's like one other black person. And I really wanted to be like, I really want to be like, hey, it's our month on February 1st. But I was like, you know what? I don't know them that well. They might not take that well. So I'm just going to keep that to myself. But in my mind, I fucking laughed because I was like, that's funny.
And maybe it's we say it on the podcast all the time. Maybe it's okay to keep those barriers between your
Yeah,
coworkers and you.
I think it is.
I think so too.
People don't need to know me. That's why, for instance, like, I don't know, but the podcast and comedy is sometimes a double life. No one knows. It's a secret because I don't need people listening to the podcast. Actually, somebody tried to add me on Instagram recently, and I was like, ooh, here's the thing.
It's gonna be a no. It's gonna be a no. Also, you don't need my phone number. For me, the biggest one is giving out my phone number to people, because when they save your number and it's
Yeah.
synced to TikTok, my TikTok will automatically come up. So
Yeah.
it's become a little bit of an issue, not gonna lie. It's become like a blessing and a curse, because men are so funny. They will like completely be, not like ghost you, but like, like show no interest. And then 2 months later, I'll get a text after seeing them come up in like, I don't know if people know, but if you don't turn off the setting, people can see that you went to see their profile. So they know
Right.
you're viewing them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This goes out specifically to my old work lead. Thank you for checking my TikTok twice a week. I know you're watching, so if you also listen to the podcast, you might want to turn that off, homie. But so I see who checks that, right?
Yeah.
And then like 2 months later, I'll get a text like along the lines of, "Hey, I've been seeing you on TikTok, and like I just saw how pretty you are, and I just like wanted to reach out." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Like I guess if you want to plan something out, then you can let me know and I'll let you know if I want to go. Never hear from these people again.
Honestly,
However, it keeps you relevant
I
on their lives, okay?
dude, I pre-block people from work.
That's smart.
I pre-block in a couple of because I'm not gonna be like, honestly, it's because you don't know if someone's safe or not. I don't care how long you've worked with someone, you don't really know if they're a safe person. As far as
Well, I don't post anything that I know could get me fired, so I don't really care.
that's
But
what you would think. How am I
no,
supposed to know?
I talked to HR when I got this job. I put the podcast on my resume and we talked about it. And I was like, okay, how can I not get fired? And they're like, as long as there's not like a conflict or interest or like, talk about like illicit activities, like no one really cares. And I was like, period. Let me quote you on that later. I'm gonna write that down. But yeah, so but I guess be careful with that. It's a blessing and a curse to link everybody's thing. I also don't like when people look at my Instagram because they also get a idea or like their own idea of who I am. You know what I mean? Like for me, Instagram's more of like a brand building concept. It's not really like who I am. And then people go see my Instagram and they make their own thoughts and opinions about me. So I don't like to give out my Instagram either. So it's like, how could I not give out my number and my Instagram? How are you supposed to contact me? Here is my PO box. You can write me.
Yeah, also fucking message me. And if I don't see it, it's because I'm not working. Duh.
Bonus points if you don't have social media, actually, at all.
Are those any do you have any more Oscar winning performances?
As of now, no, and I hope it stays that way. I'm done with Oscar winning performances. The thing is, I like to know, I like when people show me the dirt, the stink, you know what I mean? Because I need to see how bad your shit stink for me to know what I'm getting myself into. The thing is, I don't mind a little cray, 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 but if you don't show it to me and I feel like I can handle it when it comes out later, because everyone's eventually comes out, then I'm gonna be like, why did you pretend you didn't have this for so long? That's more of mine. You know what I mean? Because now I have to assess if I really want to be somebody who hides their shit so much. It's harder. It's harder to keep up that facade. It's eventually gonna come out. So you might as well let people see your shit at least a little bit. You don't have to be like, here's all my shit, but like maybe introduce your shit so they know so they can make the best decision for themselves.
I mean, that's probably like my best relationship advice is like be exactly who you are from the very beginning, because then I don't know, like I just think if you start out being crazy, they're going to expect crazy, and I'm saying crazy in quotation marks, everyone's a little crazy, right? But if you're really
Yeah.
authentic and you're like I'm a quirky crazy gal, then you don't have to like come out as quirky and crazy. That's how they're already going to like you for your qualities of who you are.
And I will say, like, the best situations, relationship, and anything wise has come out of being friends with that person for a specific amount of time. Because I think sometimes when you meet somebody and you like them, you kind of put up a front. You try to show them the best version of yourself. When I realized that men do not care if you're messy, bro.
No.
Like, the past two people that I feel like have been, like, super into me, they knew me for a while and they knew like my shenanigans. And you think that's gonna be a turnoff, but it actually turns out that if a guy likes you, they like you like all the cuckoos and crazies and like screws loose. So, it's just like be yourself. If they're not nice to you, if they don't want to respect you, that's on them. That's not on you. At the end of the day, you gotta be people will treat you based on what you will put up with. So you gotta let them know, hey, that shit don't slide. But it's still be yourself. Be a little cuckoo crazy bananas. The right person will find that endearing.
I think so. I agree. That's the word. That's it. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Tell us your Oscar winning performance, either the one that you gave or were given. And you can find
Yeah.
us on our social media page. Thanks to number 4 your concern. I'm at Ella L. Tudor.
And I'm at Berenice DSM.
Make sure that you're subscribed to this podcast, that you send it to a friend, as well as rate and review. It helps us out a whole lot.
Yay. All right. TT Maya, bye.
Bye.